Alright, so let's actually write some code to serialize objects of a class. So what we're going to do in this example is we're going to create objects of the person class. This is the same person class that we used previously. So we'll create a couple of objects and we're going to write it to, or serialize it to, a binary file. So let's just start writing the code for this. So as we mentioned, everything comes from the java.io package. So we'll do import java.io.star, and then we'll create our class. I'm going to call this write objects, and we need our main method, static void main, and then we need a couple objects from the person class. So let's create some people. So we'll do person, and I'm going to call one Frodo. So you can guess what person I'm going to create. So do person. So Frodo Baggins. And then, well, Frodo shouldn't be by himself, so we'll add Sam. Because Frodo and Sam get along together, right? So let's see here. Okay, there's our people. And just to make sure that we do have the right people, we'll go ahead and print them. So we'll print Frodo. And then we'll print Sam. Let's just make sure at least this part works. So let's go ahead and save this, compile, and then run it. Okay, yep, we see here that we have Frodo and Sam. Alright, so that part's good. Now we'll handle the actual serialization part of it. So as we mentioned before, all the operations that involve file output stream and object output stream require try catch blocks. So let's just go ahead and include that. So we'll do try and put some quotes, or not quotes, but curly braces. And then we need to catch the file not found exception. So we'll go ahead and take care of that first. And I'm just going to call it E. And then what I'm going to do in this case is there's another method we could use that just prints the stack trace, which is pretty much like what we would see if we get a normal exception. So we'll just do that in this case instead of printing out an error message. So we'll do E dot print stack trace. And then we do need to catch one more thing. We need to catch the IO exception. Now this is more with whenever we're actually writing stuff, but we'll just go ahead and include it now. So we'll also print the stack trace here as well. Trace. Okay. And then now we got to take care of this stuff inside the try block. So we need to first create an object of the file output stream. So we'll do file output stream. I'll call it fs equals new file output stream. And this is where we put in the binary file that we want. So I'm going to call this people.bin. We haven't created the file yet, but this is fine because we're going to write to the file. So this program will take care of creating that file for us. So we got our file output stream object. So now we need our object output stream. We'll call it os equals new object output stream. And then we'll pass our file output stream object. So then we need to actually write the objects to the file. So the way we do that is we invoke the corresponding methods to our OS object or object output stream. So since we are writing objects, we'll use the write object method. So do os dot write object, and we'll pass Frodo. And then os dot write object, and then we'll pass Sam. And then finally, we need to close both the object output stream and the file output stream. So we'll do os.close, and then we'll do fs.close. All right, so let's compile to make sure everything compiled properly. Now let's go ahead and run the code and see what happens. So if we run it, ooh, that does not look good. A lot of red text. So let's just scroll up here and see what happened. So scroll all the way up. That's a lot of red text. So here we go. So we got the java.io not serializable exception for the person class. The reason that this happened was because we can't just print or send or serialize any class or any object of a class to the binary file. We have to make that class serializable. And right now our person class is not set up that way. So we have to do a couple things in the person class to actually make this work. So we need to do a couple things. The first thing we need to do is include, well, actually the main thing is to include the serializable interface. So we have to implement that interface. So we need to do public class person. And if you remember from before on how we would implement interfaces, we need to actually say implements serializable. Now, this interface comes from the java.io package. So that means we need to make sure that we do include that package. So yes, we have to do it for this class as well. So we're going to do import.java, no, not .java, but import space java.io. Now I could do .star, but I'm not going to actually show the class that we're importing from. So I'm going to do .serializable. And that should take care of everything. For this interface, I should mention there are no methods in the interface. So we don't have to actually define any extra methods. Because remember, when we have an interface, there's usually methods associated with it, and we have to provide some type of definition for every single one of those abstract methods before we can use the interface. But that's not true for serializable. That interface doesn't have any methods, so we don't have to actually worry about implementing any additional methods. So this alone should work. So let's go ahead and compile and make sure that compiled properly. Let's go ahead and run it. No exceptions. So we still printed out the objects here. So let's just go ahead and see if we actually created the file. So that should be right here. So here we go. There's people.bin, and if I try to open it up here, it's probably not going to let me do anything with it because it is a binary file. But if we were to actually get the contents from this, yeah, I have no idea what that is. Okay, let's not worry about that. But there's our binary file. Actually, I'm going to try one more thing here. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm just going to try it. Let's see here. Let's try opening it in WordPad. And we won't worry about that. And let's see what happens. I think I know what's going to do. Yeah. So we kind of see, we get a bunch of gibberish, which is typical for a binary file. We really can't make much sense out of it. We do see the word person, first, string, Frodo, Baggins, Sam, and so forth. So I think it's there. You just remember with a binary file, it's not something that we can read very well, but it does look like that we did print the objects to the binary file. So please make sure that you do follow along and try this out yourself. This is actually a very common job interview question where employers will ask, how do you serialize and deserialize objects? So make sure you actually try this out yourself.